These establishment hacks have some friggin' nerve, don't they? The degenerates at the Atlantic are waving the white flag and asking for peace concerning the fallout of the pandemic because they're being so consistently proven to be wrong in almost every take they had during the 2.5-year dry run to see just how much communism the American people would take. Now, I promised a week ago that I would be giving you a compilation of all the absurd things the establishment did and said to us during that time. Well, this Atlantic piece is calling for forgiveness for their open madness during the pandemic. As I said last week, I have no room in my heart for forgiveness for these people. Not for this. So sit back, relax, and relive the insanity and outright lies based on the word science instead of actual science. And you can take your mea culpa and shove it into the next syringe you losers blindly put into your bodies. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me one more time for another edition of the best kept secret in the conservative movement, Things That Need to Be Said. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis. Really quick, I'd love it if all of you could head on over to Rumble, subscribe to our channel, and hit that plus button. And no matter where you watch our videos, please share, like, and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I love to read what you guys have to say, and I couldn't do what I do without all of you. Now, on with the show. So really quick, for context, let's take one more look at that Atlantic headline and subheader. Quote, "Let's declare a pandemic amnesty. We need to forgive one another for what we did and said when we were in the dark about COVID," unquote. First of all, what's up with all this we bullshit? When I talk about we, the people I know based their decisions on the information available, not what the establishment media, establishment politicians, establishment doctors, and TikTok nurses had to say and dance about.
Big, big booty, what you got a big booty. Big, big booty, what you got a big booty. Big, big booty, what you got a big booty.
Second, what do you mean when we were in the dark? I thought science had every conversation and every debate settled. I thought there was no question as to what was going on. You never claimed to be in the dark. Skeptics like me always claimed that the truth was being kept in the dark, while all of you only shed light on your settled science. And lastly, and we'll get to the compilation in just a minute, here's 2 examples of the Atlantic itself calling to create second-class citizens out of unvaccinated people within 1 month of each other just last year. August 3rd, 2021. Quote, "Unvaccinated people need to bear the burden." That genius article pushed for air travel to only be afforded to those who underwent the medical procedure. And August 29th, 2021, quote, "Vaccine refusers don't get to dictate terms anymore," unquote. All right, when did they during the pandemic? Because if I remember correctly, Bolshevik Beijing Biden said this.
"This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated."
And even though it's not from the Atlantic, this headline from the Los Angeles Times from January of this year warrants repeating, just in case any of you felt any level of forgiveness for these authoritarians. Quote, "Mocking anti-vaxxers' COVID deaths is ghoulish, yes, but may be necessary," unquote. Well, and I know we're always supposed to turn the other cheek, but after a headline like that, it's time to remind them just who in the hell we are. And if I remember correctly, we don't take crap from losers who couldn't back up their words if their lives depended on it.
Nothing for you.
Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. Some of these clips you might have seen in previous videos of mine, but the point still remains. These people suck at life. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Clown World.
Who's not going to take the vaccine because they think it might be dangerous? Raise your hands. Now take that hand and slap yourself in the face. The spread of COVID was directly linked to how dense the population is, and some of the population really quite dense.
I'm your biggest fan, I'm trusting everything you tell me. Dr. Fauci.
You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this? If this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
Please get vaccinated. If you know someone who's not vaccinated, find a way to convince them to get vaccinated. Literally, the only people dying are the unvaccinated. And for those of you spreading misinformation, shame on you. Shame on you. People are needlessly dying because of your misinformation. Think about it. I don't know how some of you sleep at night who are doing this for a living on television.
It isn't hard to do.
Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too.
¿Te preocupa que entre los conservadores, de los cuales hay por supuesto muchos latinos, que haya una doble tendencia, primero, de decir que las vacunas no sirven, y segundo, de creer la gran mentira, de que Donald Trump ganó las pasadas elecciones presidenciales y no Joe Biden? Estas dos grandes corrientes, estas dos grandes mentiras, ¿están poniendo en peligro la democracia en este país?
Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines. Help all the people who have been quarantined. We'll wear our masks and we'll have to stay distant. We'll wash our hands and we'll be more resistant.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people.
The next video is just an example of what happened all over the world without really telling you. But the claim was that the food tested positive for the coof and had to be disposed of.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected, whether they're outdoors or indoors. That's the bottom line of that, to get people to appreciate you get vaccinated and you're really quite safe from getting infected. There will always be breakthrough infections,
right?
But given the denominator of people who are vaccinated, that's a very, very rare event.
This has been a remarkable show of leadership by Governor Cuomo in recent days. He's providing hope, but not false hope.
Governor Cuomo, I think, is one of the heroes on the front lines.
With all of this adulation that you're getting for doing your job, are you thinking about running for president?
Andrew Cuomo, who has a daily television show now and has become in some ways the shadow president.
Maybe Trump is just a little bit mad that Governor Cuomo has become a kind of acting president.
Dealing with hardship actually makes you stronger. That's what Governor Cuomo said earlier today. That's what I'm going to go teach my kids right now at home.
Yeah, about that jamoke blamed the unvaccinated for the elderly dying in his state, while his own office hid death totals in nursing homes to avoid culpability for their demise.
We're not in a position where we think that any virus, including the Delta virus, which is much more transmissible and more deadly in terms of unvaccinated people, the various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Yeah.
I'm a Pfizer girl in a COVID world. I'm the classic mRNA-tastic 95%. There's no argument. Got no contagion with my vaccination.
After all that brazen, egomaniacal stupidity, and I only showed you a fraction of what they said about and against us, do they deserve our empathy for their blatant and willful ignorance? Do they deserve it after separating us from our families, where in some cases people couldn't see their loved ones while they were dying? Do they deserve it when they intentionally put sick people into nursing homes and essentially euthanized an untold amount of the elderly? Oh, and by the way, people like Cuomo and Gretchen Whitmer, Gavin Newsom, and other communist governors are going to literally get away with it. Do they deserve it when they banned thousands of doctors from social media who tried to warn people about the possible side effects of the medical procedure, or the media and political misinformation being promoted, allegedly, all in an effort to affect an election? Do they deserve it when they literally put people in concentration camps for either getting the flu or speaking skeptically about it? And do they deserve our forgiveness when they needlessly affected an entire generation of children by making them socially retarded by putting masks on them while wanting to force medical procedures on them they don't need? Folks, it's been a long nearly 3 years since, allegedly, our government funded the Chinese to make this virus and release it on the world. I was tired of it 4 to 6 months in. I don't know about all of you. All I know is that much like what our government has done to Americans over the years, whether it's leaving them to die in foreign lands multiple times or droning them because they knew actual inconvenient truths, most of our government should be in prison. But with the addition of a world-crippling event like the pandemic, the establishment politicians, establishment media talking heads, and sellout celebrities and athletes, at the very least, should apologize to us. They should take knees begging for our forgiveness. And I'll do you all one better. The only way I would accept the terms of the Atlantic's tone-deaf call for peace would be if the writer or anyone from the Atlantic came to each one of our doors and apologized personally. Otherwise, and you don't have to like it,
why don't you go f yourself?
So, were these things that needed to be said? Let me know in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel on Rumble and hit that plus button. If you like this video, don't forget to share, comment, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so the YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video, if they haven't censored it or taken it down yet. Like us on Facebook and check out more of our work at MRCTV.org. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.